My respected Guru, Dr. Girish Ahuja sir, it is an honor to stand before you and make an attempt to convey my thoughts to this august gathering. The President of KCAA, Karnataka Chartered Accountants Association, Chandrasekhar Shetty Sahab, all the esteemed office bearers of this organization, all the dignitaries sitting in the august gathering, my professional brothers and sisters, and ladies and gentlemen. When I learned that Girish Ahuja sir is coming, so I said, okay, whatever date you are giving, give. Don't worry, no need to check calendar. I will readjust. It is a matter of profound privilege to be in his enriching company. Thank you for the kind words, madam, in my praise. तारीफ किसको नहीं अच्छी लगती सर? सबको अच्छी लगती है, हमें भी लगती है. But I don't want to remain oblivious to the fact that today I am standing before a galaxy of intellectuals. So it is a pleasure for me to share my thoughts on the topic which is very close to my heart. That is Benami law. And also, of course, anti-money laundering law. But why Benami law I am beginning with? Because when this law was introduced, I had recently resigned from the services at that time. Sir, I did not retire, I resigned from there. Because people sometimes tell me कि sir आप तो tribal member लगते नहीं, आपके तो बाल सफेद होने चाहिए. So then Shah Rukh Khan's property was attached at that time, if you remember, in 2017. Not that Mannat wala bungalow, that Ali Bagh bungalow. So one senior correspondent from Economic Times, Mr. Sugato Ghosh, he called me. Ki, sir, now you are no more in service. I have been following up with your orders. So you speak and you write quite vocally and vibrantly. So I want to have your views on the recent incident wherein the property of Shah Rukh Khan is attached. I said, okay, take my interview, come over. He said, no, sir, I want to take your telephonic interview. So he started asking the questions. I said, okay, tell me what you want. He said, sir, I want in short, how would you describe this law? I said, how to summarize this law? I had recently read. I said, okay, in brief, I would say this is a unguided missile, unwittingly created, loaded with nuclear arsenal. 2017 I am talking about. He asked few more questions. I replied, next fine morning, sir, I found in Economic Times, my views were published as it is with my name. तो सबसे पहले तो सर की डांट पड़ी और बहुत सारे कॉल्स आए कंट्री से कि अश्विनी, what are you saying this? So I said, okay, let me, कुछ ज़्यादा बोल दिया, let me make it mild. So I read the law again. And when I read the law again, believe me, I found that something less has been said. More could have been said. I did not change it. So after 2 years, he again called me when I was in New Zealand at that time. He said, sir, now what you have to say, because what you said at that time is proving to be true. He is from Bombay. So in Bombay, what is happening is actually, I would say, massacre in the business. Because now this law has been applied not only on the companies, not only on the people for whom it was brought probably, but also on the listed companies. Also on the international transactions, which one could not have ever imagined. So that is what the Benami law is. Let us see what are the various facets. सर की स्पीच के बाद एक चीज बड़ी अच्छी होती है कि the ball is set rolling. Though the bench is raised very high, but the ball is set rolling. So a good mood is prevailing. उस मूड को हम आगे लेके चलते हैं. So एक ही कंडीशन है बस मेरी आपसे एक ही एक्सपेक्टेशन है, whatsoever the law may be tough, easy, after the end of the session it will look to be quite easy, I can assure you. एक कंडीशन सिर्फ आपको मेरी माननी पड़ेगी, that seriousness is not allowed in my session. So let us make this session full of laughter and also participative. बड़ी सारी चीजें आएंगी जो बड़ी स्ट्रेंज है, जैसे इस कानून के बारे में साहब बड़े अच्छे अच्छे सवाल आ रहे हैं, थोड़ी बहुत हिंदी चलेगी ना? चलेगी, ओके। क्योंकि कुछ बातें ऐसी होती हैं जो मन से कही जाती हैं और मन से ही समझ में आती है, जिसको कहते हैं मन की बात। कोई उसको समझ रहा है मोम की बात, कोई कुछ समझ रहा है, बट वो मन की बात है। सो पहला क्वेश्चन ये आता है साहब इसमें बेनामी लॉ के बारे में कि सर ये पास्ट ट्रांजैक्शंस पे भी लगेगा क्या, या सिर्फ फ्यूचर ट्रांजैक्शंस पे लगेगा? ये बहुत बड़ा सवाल है, क्योंकि अगर पास्ट पे लगेगा तो डिजास्टर इज वेटिंग फॉर मेनी पीपल। अच्छा, ये मैं नहीं कह रहा डिजास्टर वाली बात, ये लॉ आने से पहले मिस्टर वीरप्पा मोइली की चेयरमैनशिप में कमेटी बनी थी, सर को पूरी बात मालूम है, और 200 पेज की रिपोर्ट वो पब्लिश्ड है। उस 200 पेजेस रिपोर्ट में this was mentioned by Mr. Veerappa Moily that if this law is not amended and it is introduced in as it is form, then lot of hue and cry will take place in the country. It will prove to be very draconian and disastrous. I am not saying, sir, report में लिखा है sir, but still the law is implemented as it is without making 0.001% amendment. Believe me. So first question is this. The next question is this. Okay, sir, forget about past transactions. What is the future time limit? If the transaction is done today, whether the action can be taken within 5 years, a decade, 2 decades, 5 decades, in the lifetime of the noticee, or even after his lifetime. Somebody can trouble his children कि look, ये जो जमीन जायदाद आपके पापा छोड़ के गए ना, ये जमीन नहीं है, ये प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है, लायबिलिटी है, ये हमें दे दो, सरकार की है ये। दूसरा क्वेश्चन, सपोज आई डिड बेनामी ट्रांजेक्शन विदाउट हैविंग एनी बैड इंटेंशन, बाय मिस्टेक हो जाती है, बाय मिस्टेक तो गलत टर्न भी ले लेते हैं हम कभी। सो इफ समथिंग इज डन विदाउट एनी मैलाफाइन इंटेंशन, स्टिल द रिगर्स ऑफ द लॉ विल अप्लाई, स्टिल आई कैन बी हिट बाय द लॉ, मीनिंग देयर बाय वेदर देयर इज एनी स्कोप ऑफ इंटेंशन। थर्ड क्वेश्चन, ओके, इफ आई हैव डन ए मिस्टेक, इज एनी यू टर्न अलाउड? फोर्थ क्वेश्चन, एनी थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट इज देयर? Next question, whether it applies to urban people only or rural also, serving class, public servants, or private citizen also. It applies to only immovable properties or movable also. So many such questions are bothering us. So the way questions are bothering, the answer should be according to your satisfaction. Why to get worried? But the truth is, which we will be sharing with each other very soon, the truth is कि whatever you are thinking, the answers will be just opposite to that. Let us do. So welcome to the world of Benami law. Now with regard to the first question which is arising, कि whether it is retrospective or not, it is essential for us to have an evolutionary background so that we can ourselves, being professionals from legal fraternity, we can ourselves decode and understand how it is going to be applied. Any idea what is the origin of this word Benami? From which language it is? Hindi, Urdu, English, Sanskrit? Any guess? It is neither Hindi nor English nor Sanskrit, it is Persian language. So that means this law was brought out in our country, one Persian language was in vogue in our country. That means, and when the Persian language was in vogue in our country, when there was Muslim rule in our country, Mughal rule. So that means the transactions were happening at that time. So much so, I will show you that transactions were happening not only at that time, even at the time of British period. Not only the transactions were happening, the law allowed Benami transactions to be done. Expressly allowed. Law means the law drafted by, enacted by the British rulers. You may not believe it, but I will show you. To cease to believe. Section 82 of Indian Trust Act 1882. Where property is transferred to one person for a consideration paid or provided by another person, and it appears that such person did not intend to pay or provide such consideration, For the benefit of the transferee must hold the property for the benefit of the person paying or providing the consideration. Meaning thereby, a person can do Benami transaction. Section 81, Section 94. You can read, the slides may be distributed. So all these sections are saying only one thing, that in case a person transfers his asset without having an intention to transfer full beneficial or ownership rights therein, then the law protects the right of the owner, transferor. That we will not treat the transferee as owner. So meaning thereby, in other words, they are saying ki okay, if a person wants to do transaction in some other name, Benami name, you can do. Section 66 of CPC. Similar thing. Not only that, our own Indian Income Tax Act, 1961 Act, not even 1922 Act, allowed Benami transactions. The heading of section 281A read, effect of failure to furnish information in respect of properties held Benami. It simply says that if a person does any Benami transaction, he has to report it to the jurisdictional commissioner or chief commissioner about the transaction which he has done. Nothing more, nothing less. Meaning thereby, in case he does not inform, then no punishment, no acquisition, no fine. Only thing is that his right to recover the property by way of legal suit will come to an end. Meaning thereby, indirectly, law also said, ki do it, just be transparent with us. Then you must be thinking, then if the law is so expressly allowing, what happened? Is it not allowed now? What happened to this law? Because Indian Trust Act has also been adopted by the independent India, like other acts. Indian Trust Act 1882 has also been adopted. Income Tax Act is our own created act. So what happened? Actually, all these sections which I have read have been repealed. Repealed when? 1988. Why? Now I will share the origin of the same also. In 1969, for the first time, Taxation Law Amendment Committee received reports from various parts of the country that in the country many Benami transactions are happening, which are creating some ripples in the economy. So an assignment was given to the Law Commission of India for the first time in 1969 to find out that why these transactions are happening, if at all they are happening, and then what should be done. Accordingly, Law Commission gave its report after 5 years in 1974, its first report on Benami transactions, wherein they confirmed that yes, Benami transactions are happening in the country, and the first reason for doing Benami transaction is not tax evasion. And the first reason is violation of certain civil laws. Laws which were brought out to make even distribution of land in the country. Even distribution of land means because there was feudal system in the society, Jamindari Pratha, few landowners and many landless laborers. So land reforms acts were brought out in the country. For example, Urban Land Ceiling Act, Andhra Pradesh Land Reforms Act, Karnataka Land Reforms Act, Maharashtra Land Reforms Act, Rajasthan Land Reforms Act, and Himachal Pradesh Tenancy Act, etc., etc. So people were buying land in other names to violate these laws. And tax evasion was also the reason. So it recommended, yes, the transaction should be curbed. Some urgent action should be needed. Despite that, nothing happened till 14 years when in 1988, for first time, May 1988, precise, to be very precise, 19th May 1988, ordinance is brought out to curb Benami transactions in the name of the Benami Transaction Ordinance, Benami Transaction Prohibition Ordinance 1988. And it receives the assent of the President on 5th September 1988, meaning thereby it becomes act within few months. It contained only 9 sections at that time. So to understand the dovetailing of old law with new law, because the stand of the government is that this is old law, nothing new. We have to understand the old law as it existed that time. And to also know that what happened, the law already existed, why we were not aware. And what happened to this law? So I will read section 1(3) to begin with. The provisions of section, now this is commencement section. As Income Tax Act has commencement section, this also has commencement section. But the difference is that in the Income Tax Act, the commencement is absolute, that Income Tax Act shall come into force with effect from 1/4/61. But here, commencement is bifurcated into 2 parts. Few sections from one particular date, remaining sections from other date. The provisions of section 3, 5 and 8 shall come into force at once. At once means immediately when President assents. And the remaining provisions of this act shall be deemed to have come into force on the 19th May 1988. There must have been some reason for this, right? Let's move further. Now, definition of Benami transactions. Benami transaction means any transaction in which property is transferred to one person for a consideration paid or provided by another person. So short definition and sweet also probably. But no, under prohibitory law, it is not necessary that everything which is short is sweet also. How? Because when we apply this definition literally, it can have some result on unintended situations also. For example, a person borrowed loan from the banker to buy a property and banker made direct payment to the seller for security reasons, as is done nowadays also. So that situation, if literally speaking, will be covered here, which is not the intention. So therefore, definition was certainly and apparently incomplete, which will be evident from the fact that present definition is totally different. Something more has been added into this. Section 3 read, no person shall enter into Benami transaction. Simple, straight, no person shall enter into Benami transaction. No ifs and buts, nothing added, ki saab for Benami, for bona fide reasons, for non-bona fide reasons, nothing. No means no. Then it says only about two exceptions. Kindly see carefully. In the name of wife or unmarried daughter. No relief to any poor husband. And to daughter also only unmarried daughter. As if after marriage she will no more be a daughter. I don't know what was the reason for that. Then section 3. Whoever enters into any Benami transaction shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years or fine or with both. So imprisonment is there, punishment is there, definition is there, prohibition is there. So then why this law was not in force? Or if it was in force, why it was not being applied? Because of this section where the entire buck stopped. All properties held Benami shall be subject to acquisition by such authority in such manner and after following such procedure as may be prescribed. Now the fact is, no such procedure was ever prescribed. No such authority was ever created. No enforcement authority, no acquisition authority, no redressal mechanism, no appellate mechanism. So it remained like a paper tiger. Tiger without force of life, which was put on the outside of your doorsteps. And when you came out in 1980, in 2016, that tiger was infused with life force. When 1/11/2016, law was amended. Now kindly see, now Amendment Act is brought out in the similar fashion as other amendment acts are brought out. For example, Income Tax Act is amended every year by Finance Act. So there are some sections which are amended, some newly brought and other remained as it is. And these amended portions are inserted into the existing act. But there is one difference. The difference is that here the number of original sections are 9 and new sections are 74. So it is like inserting small boat in large ship. So this question was asked at the floor of the House by someone from Honorable Finance Minister, the then Honorable Finance Minister, late Shri Arun Jaitley, and as he was quite witty for his conversations, so he replied with the same wits. He said, yes, this argument looks to be quite, reasoning looks to be quite impressive. But the reason behind this is that we did not want to give immunity to the people who have done Benami transaction in the last 28 years. 28 means 2016 minus 1988. And when this act was brought out in 1988, all these sections were also repealed, which I read, these original sections of Trust Act, etc. So this was the speech, part of the speech from Honorable Finance Minister. But speech may not be conclusive. So let us decide whether this law is retrospective or not. That is what is our reading says. Now kindly see, section 1(3) remains unamended. No amendment is this. Now if it remains unamended, we have to read it as it is. And if we read it as it is, let us see what is the effect. The provisions of section 3, 5 and 8 shall come into force at once. Now may I take a pause here? At once means what? Because 2000 amendments, 74 amendments are brought out now. At once, when it was enacted, was referred at that point of time. Assent of the. So, what is your opinion? At once means what here? So opinion is divided, and so is divided in every house. So we cannot reach to any conclusion. Okay. But controversy will become more large if I read the remaining half, which says, and the remaining provisions of this act shall be deemed to have come into force on 19th May 1988. Now remaining means what? Sir, 9 minus 3 original sections, or now 74 minus 3, because it stands as it is. Now there are 74 sections. What is your opinion? This side? We have to read the section as it is. 74 minus 3, somebody says 9 minus 3. So again, nowhere we are reaching, rather it is becoming more confusing. That is why I say, when I said that Benami law has become very close to my heart, because I salute to the person who has drafted this law. It is a work of art. For a legal person, you ask, what comes from within is, it's work of art. You know why I am saying work of art? Something where you don't have to do anything but greatest things are achieved. That is work of art. Now, they did not make it retrospective. They don't have to stand before the Supreme Court to satisfy them कि sir हमने retrospective क्यों बनाया? बोला हमने तो कुछ नहीं किया. So without doing anything, if you achieve, for example, somebody comes to meet me and wants to shake my hand, I move aside and there is deep valley behind me and he falls down. I said, sir, मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया. I just stepped aside. He fell himself. So that is what they have done. So we will reach nowhere if you try to decipher this section 1.3. But maybe as a seasoned lawyer, if we argue, the court may say, okay, Mr. Taneja, we agree with you. This is ridiculous, give rise to a ridiculous situation, a weird situation, absurd situation. So let us read section 1.3, otiose qua new law. Otiose means redundant. Let us read redundant qua new law. We will read it qua old law only. So let us be optimistic for a minute and then proceed further to find still there is anything which can make it still retrospective. Let us see from this angle. Because if we have to read it like that, from retrospective, then everything is gone. क्योंकि फिर तो ये माना जाएगा, remaining provisions of this act, remaining provisions contained birth of IO, birth of appellate authorities, birth of acquisition authorities, appellate authorities, enforcement officers, procedure to acquire or confiscate, etc. So then it will be presumed as if they always existed. But which cannot be a situation. So let us proceed further. Now another specialty of the way law has been drafted is really fantastic, sir. The way earlier the law used to be drafted, the law is drafted and then it will be punctured. And the punctured law will be repaired and then repaired again will be punctured. So this time they did different kind of methodology. They said, okay, let us do some in-house drilling. So they visualized how it will be punctured. Then they visualized how to be repaired, then again how it will be punctured, and they probably did 10 rounds inside, in-house, and then maybe at the 11th round, the output came that has been presented to you by way of the present law. Which will be evident from this fact that the definition itself contains 4 parts. Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D. All possible life situations which you can imagine are covered here. And also evident from this fact, when this new section is brought out, which begins with the word a transaction or arrangement. Somebody might say, sir, मैंने तो कोई transaction नहीं किया है. No transaction done by me. Okay, you have not done any transaction, but you have done some kind of arrangement. No scope route. Read further. A transaction or arrangement, A. Now kindly count the commas here. Because I read somewhere in Times of India that somebody misused some comma somewhere in USA and he had to pay $1 million fine on that for improper or no use of comma. So therefore they said, why to be miser on comma, have comma after comma? Kindly see, where a property is transferred to comma or is held by comma, a person comma and the consideration for such property has been provided comma or paid by comma another person comma. Now there is a magic of comma only in this. I will show. Where a property is transferred to comma. Now this is one compartment. Because of comma, other thing is puts into another compartment. Where the property is transferred to. So few minutes back we decided that we will be optimistic on this aspect that section 1.3 will be treated as redundant qua new law. So let us remove 1.3 from the picture. If we remove 1.3 from the picture, then the date of transfer of the property should be when? To apply this law. Post 1/11/2016. If 1.3 is not there, so it has to be post 1/11/2016, all right. Or is held by Held when? Held when? On the date when notice is issued. That is post 11/2016 only. That is when the IO is born. Held since when? Here I need your opinion of the entire house. Held since when? $88 कहीं लिखा है? आप 88 पे क्यों रुके? टाइम इमेमोरियल. तो somebody again as a citizen lawyer may argue before the court, नहीं साहब 88 से पहले कैसे जा सकते हैं? So in the process of negotiation, at the best the relief will be of 1988. तो 1988 पे तो आप अपने आप ही आ गए बिना उनके कुछ किए कि साहब अच्छा 88 से पहले मत लो सर, 88 से पहले मत लीजिए सर. तो यहां तक तो आप ऐसे ही पहुंच गए. So that is how I present to you Benami law. अच्छा, अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कि साहब व्हाट अबाउट फ्यूचर, क्या टाइम लिमिट है? तो मैंने एक बार सोचा कि इसमें जितनी भी चीजें बनी है बहुत शानदार, इससे पीस ऑफ आर्ट. सो इसका कहीं ना कहीं लॉजिक होगा हर एक चीज का. तो मैं लॉजिक ढूंढने लगा ना, और लॉजिक ढूंढते ढूंढते मैं आई ट्रेवल बैक इनटू द हिस्ट्री एंड आई रीच अराउंड 5500 years बैक. And when I traveled so long, so back, one very important piece of legislation came into my hand. You know what? Shetty Saab, Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. What he said in that. And you find all the logics here, given here, are derived from there. Whatever question you ask, I will give you logic from there. And you will yourself will say, yes sir. So what he said, समय अनंत है, इसका ना प्रारंभ है ना अंत है. सो दे हैव मेड इट एज टाइमलेस ब्यूटी. लाफ्टर इज फुली अलाउड. यार हंसते गाते ही इसे टीडीएस सब्जेक्ट को निकालना है. सो विदाउट डूइंग एनीथिंग, इट इज रिट्रोस्पेक्टिव एंड इट इज नो टाइम लिमिट. विदाउट, इट इज बाउंड्रीलेस. नाउ आई वॉन्ट टू नो if you know any legislation in the country, any other, there is no beginning, no end, जिसमें कोई समय सीमा नहीं है, कोई एक कानून बताओ. So this is the first law, probably, which is unfettered, which is timeless. Then where a property is transferred to or is held by a person and the consideration for such property has been provided or paid by another person, and now thereafter it is connected with the word and. So and means there is a conjunctive reading to be done with the other condition. If the reading is not conjunctive, it will not be fulfilled. So both the conditions have to be fulfilled to make it Benami. Otherwise, the conditions of section A will not be complied with. And what is that? After and, the property is held for the immediate or future benefit, direct or indirect, of the person who has provided the consideration. So meaning thereby this is a benefit test. That benefit should be derived by the person who is paying the consideration. So if benefit test is not complied with, it will not be Benami. So we also call it as litmus test, acid test. This test was not there in earlier definition. So no benefit test complied with, no Benami. Benefit test is mandatory. Believe me, this is the only oxygen cylinder provided in the act, otherwise everything is going on the worst side. So to give you a small example, suppose I call my driver and I say, okay, this is the car registered in my name, I am giving it to you, you get it registered in your name. Use it, enjoy it. Will it be Benami? Okay, let me put another condition. Now this time I say, okay, keep it in your name, get it registered in your name, but whenever I need it, you have to bring it. If my family needs it, you have to bring it. Or my friend, for whomsoever I tell, you have to bring it. Benefit test is complied. In the second situation, it may be Benami. So this is my primary thoughts which I have given with the simple facts to convey my thoughts. Part B. A transaction or arrangement in respect of property carried out or made in a fictitious name. Now kindly see. Carried out or made in a fictitious name. Fictitious word being used in any legislation for the first time. कहीं किसी legislation में अभी तक fictitious का नहीं आया. So meaning thereby something which is some name which is used fictitiously, that property will be treated as Benami. Now what can be that situation? For example, a person is keeping a property in the name of his pets. Property पकड़ी गई, बोला साहब ये तो रॉकी के नाम से है साहब. In the name of any god or goddess or any other imaginary name which the law does not recognize to be a person. That will be fictitious and that will be Benami itself on that very ground. Nothing more is required to be proved. How, what kind of sea change will come? Now clause C looks to be very simple, but one of the most dangerous clauses in this definition clause. A transaction or a arrangement in respect of a property where the owner of the property is not aware of or denies knowledge of such ownership. Now I will share one of the practical things which happened, the situation which emerged, and then you decide what is the gravity of this clause. Search took place at the business premises of a big businessman of the city. So residential premises were also covered, and in the residential premises, when the search was going on, the statements were recorded. So statement of the gentleman of the house is recorded firstly, and apart from many questions, question is put about the jewelry. Ki, okay, you tell us what is the source of jewelry, when you acquired, from where you acquired, etc., etc. So he was quite seasoned. So he said, sir, this jewelry looks to be quite old. This is old jewelry, very old jewelry, sir. This was acquired by me and my wife at the time of our marriage only. It is gifted by her relatives, my parents, her parents, and then some of them after birthdays and all that. Nothing new in that. Okay. Then eventually turn of the madam came, first lady of the house, for the statement, recording of the statement. So these officers who record statements, they become quite seasoned in human psychology and they know what to ask so that desired answers come. So this time they twisted the manner of asking question slightly. So the question was asked, ki, okay madam, tell us whether you wear old jewelry or you wear new jewelry. So why would a madam of lady of a good prosperous house would say ki sab old jewelry? No, no sir, this is new jewelry. I bought it last year only from Marasan Jewelers. So statement of the gentleman is washed. Because in litigation, the fundamental aspects remains the game of burden. Whose burden is what? When this burden can be said to be discharged, when not. If we understand this art, we can bring the steering of the litigation in our control. So the burden, when whatever is stated at the time of statement is deemed to be true. Whatever is stated at the time of recording of statement under section 132, it is deemed to be true unless proved otherwise. And burden to prove otherwise is upon the person who is claiming it to be otherwise. So when the boss gave the statement, the burden was upon the department. That is not from at the time of marriage. So you prove otherwise. Now when the madam said like that, the burden will again comes back. Now you prove that it is at the time of jewelry. It is certain intangible things cannot be proved, for which there is no direct documentary evidence. May not be possible. This is gone. Another question comes up. Ki, okay madam, what do you do? I look after this house, such a big house, big family and all that. Okay, what meetings you attend? I do not attend any meeting. No, you must be attending EGMs, AGMs, etc., etc. No, then you must be attending at least board meetings. No, you have some confusion. I do not attend any meeting. आपको कुछ गलत फहमी हुई है, कोई मीटिंग में अटेंड नहीं करता. अच्छा मैडम, no problem. We will write down. No meetings are attended. Okay, what shares you have? Share certificates you are having? No, I don't have some share certificates. No, you must be having shareholding in some company. Again, you are troubling me. You have some confusion. I do not have any share certificates. Okay, madam, we will note down. Okay, then tell where are your partner, etc., etc. No, I am not partner anywhere. देखिए, मैं इतना बड़ा घर चलाती हूँ. This is the house, this, etc., etc. And you are troubling me this. No problem, madam. We will write down. So recording of statement is brought to an end. And madam is very happily she comes out and tells to the husband that you are unnecessarily scaring me. Look, my statement is recorded, nothing happened, everything is fine. But nothing happened does not mean everything came to an end. In fact, here began the real drama. When few notices came from Benami Prohibition Unit. saying that the entire share certificates held in the name of so and so lady, madam, are held benami by her. So these are hereby attached. And partnership ratios are also benami. And similar notices are sent to the company and the partnership firm. But some of you who are sitting here, their lawyering skill would be arising, ki, sir, what are you saying? There are provisions of Indian Evidence Act and specifically provision section 91, 92, read with section 101, 102 and 106 of Indian Evidence Act, which says that in case documentary evidences are pitted against oral evidences, then documentary evidences shall have precedence value, overriding effect. Right? ये तो बड़ा admitted law है, section 91, 92 quite popular, must have read somewhere, कि documentary evidence will have supersession effect, precedence effect. But before you think so, let me introduce you with the two provisions which are brought out in PBPT Act, that is section 60 and 67 of the Act. Section 60 says that provisions of this Act are in addition to and not in subrogation of provisions of any other Act. Now this will take me to the answer of the question which was arising which is also arising quite frequently, that somebody asks, sir, if I have paid the tax, suppose this is a tax paid transaction, can it still be treated as benami? Or in another situation, suppose they have levied tax under section 68, can it still be roped in under benami law? So for that, section 60 must be read. Now there is one more section, section 67, which says that if there are two kinds of provisions, provision in this act or in some other act, and in case of inconsistency between the two, then provisions under this act will prevail over the provisions of any other act, which has become a fashion nowadays. Every act contains this kind of provision, that provisions of this act shall have supersession effect on the provisions of any other act. So similar is the situation here also. Now in the wake of this section 60 and 67, now you tell me, what is your opinion, whether the madam's statement will prevail or the documentary evidence of her holding the share certificates and partnership in the firm and her signatures on the bank account or on the minute books wherever she has attended the meetings will prevail. What is your opinion on that? Sir? हैं जी? मैंने तो ये कहा है सिर्फ ये सेक्शन 67 है और तो मैंने कुछ नहीं कहा अभी. You decide. Sorry? Okay, let us come to that situation later on. First of all, let us deal with this situation. Now what I said, that in case of inconsistency in the provisions, I did not say inconsistency on facts. So you should ask me a question whether there is any provision under this act which says that these sections 91 से लेकर from 91 to 106 of Indian Evidence Acts are overridden here. They shall prevail. These here. No, there is no such law. No such thing has been brought out under Benami law. So meaning thereby, they both are offsprings of the constitution of the country. So their force is like that of siblings. So unless erased specifically, each of them will carry its own force. Unless erased specifically. So meaning thereby, if there is no contradictory provision here, provisions of fundamental law, the fundamental jurisprudence, that is Indian Evidence Act, shall also have its role. So meaning thereby, if documentary evidences are there to say something, they will prevail. But you will agree with one thing at least, that climate of the house will change for some time. So far, in the morning, madam will rise early, prepare tea, serve it to the husband with biscuits of the choice. Now sometime reverse will happen. The poor husband will rise early and will bring the cookies and serve it to the madam कि देखो तुम्हारे लिए बड़ी अच्छी चाय है, कुकीज़ भी हैं साथ में. बस एक छोटी सी चीज़ कर लेना, आज डिपार्टमेंट में स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड होना है, वो ठीक कर लेना. देखो मैं तुम्हें सब बता दूंगा, क्या मेरा है, क्या तुम्हारा है, और मेरा ही क्या है, सब तुम्हारा है. भाई सर इसका भी ओरिजिन वही है. जब 7 वॉर्स वर टेकन, जब वॉर्स वर टेकन एंड 7 फेराज वर टेकन, तो क्या प्रॉमिस किया था कि सुख दुख बांटेंगे। अब सुख तो आपने बांटा नहीं, तो सरकार ने कहा कि अच्छा ऐसे पकड़ते हैं इनको, इन पुअर हस्बैंड्स को ऐसे ज्ञान देते हैं। So with the help of this law, why I have this subject is my favorite subject, also for the reason with the subject of this law we understand the life also. So note, they are not teaching you to handle your properties. With the help of this law, they are teaching you to handle your life also very well. And if you are not still convinced, let us read further and many such things will come. When you will yourself will say, ki yes, now the time has come to realign ourselves. Realign ourselves firstly as citizens of this country. And most importantly as professionals. Because the consequences are too dangerous. The time has come when we should start dealing with our clients at arm's length. Kyun sir? The moment we become party to the transactions, what are going to be the consequences? Not only under this law, but many laws going to be quite disastrous. Whether it is PMLA, Black Money Act, PMLA, Benami Law, SFIO, and many such things. And of course, realignment of life. Let us understand. Clause D. A transaction or arrangement in respect of a property where the person providing the consideration is not traceable or is fictitious. The first case of the country was made from Pune applying this law only. When the cash was caught in the car wherein some politicians was sitting, the politician tried to befool the police. Ultimately, matter was handed to the BPU. Nobody claimed whose cash is what, etc., etc. Ultimately, they invoked clause D, and the property became the property of the government within 1 month. Otherwise, under income tax proceedings, it would have prolonged for many years. So within 1 month, property becomes a property of the government. Nobody is coming to claim the property because now they are waiting for prosecution also, etc., etc. Exceptions. So law is very clear. There is no ifs and buts that for bona fide reasons you can do, for non-bona fide reasons you cannot do. No. Again, no means no. Unless the case falls in these exceptions. If it is a case of Benami, it is Benami, come what may. Property held by Karta or member of HUF for his benefit or the benefit of other members in the family. Plain simple. Now second one is very important. Property held by a person standing in a fiduciary capacity for the benefit of another person and includes trustee, executives, partners, directors of a company or depository under the Depository Act. And any other person as may be notified by the central government. Now may I take a pause and ask one simple thing here. If any category is not defined here, but it is fiduciary capacity, can it be included here? Yes. Why? Because it is inclusive definition. Since it is inclusive definition, any other fiduciary capacity, but it should be fiduciary capacity. For example, holding and nominee relationship. Holding company holds 100% shares of WS except 1 share. So that will come in this category. Second, property held in the name of spouse or in the name of any child. अब देखिए साहब यहाँ बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन आता है. Now, this Benami law is giving shiverings to many people in different fashion. Somebody is getting worried that lest his Benami property is detected. Somebody is getting shivering and worries lest his Benami Rishta is not detected. Somebody is getting worried that if Benami property is detected, Benami Rishta will be detected. Somebody is getting vice versa worried that if Benami Rishta is detected, Benami property will also be detected. So somebody asked a question getting out of these worries. कि सर ओके तनेजा साहब दिस इज ओके प्रॉपर्टी हेल्ड इन द नेम ऑफ स्पाउस बट द क्वेश्चन अराइजेस हु स्पाउस. I said very interesting question he is asking here. I looked back at the law and I then said that this law, this slide has been made interesting for you. There it is clearly mentioned property held in the name of his or her spouse. Then another question immediately fell upon me. Sir, any child means what? नहीं वो सब चीजें नहीं जो आप सोच रहे हो. Any child means child of what age? This. And different definitions are given in Income Tax Act and Indian Succession Act, and both are allied laws as per the definition given here. So, because lineal ascendant descendant is given in the next clause, so I think child of any age will be covered here. भाई आज भी मेरे parents तो मुझे child कह के ही बुलाते हैं. It is like that. For parents, it's a child only. Then property of any property taken or retained in the part performance. Now this is to save power of attorney cases. Sorry, ये बीच में property held as a joint owner in the name of brother, sister, lineal ascendant or descendant. So in the case of brother, sister, lineal ascendant and descendant or parents, one has to be joint owner of the property. So if I buy property in the name of my mother for emotional reasons and continue to show myself as owner, it will be a case of Benami property, unless I am joint owner. Some real life situations have taken where two brothers have taken property jointly. One is living on the second floor and ground floor, other one is living, and property is registered in the name of elder brother only, and both are showing respectively of the different floors as owners of themselves. The same has been treated as Benami, and they are into trouble. So unless having full ownership, भाई देखो 1 घंटे का तो टॉपिक है, 1 घंटा तो दोगे, तो 1 घंटा जब हो जाए मेरे को बता देना, अदरवाइज वी कैन वाइंड अप इमीडिएटली. ये तो 1.5 घंटे का टॉपिक है वैसे, बट एज द हाउस विल डिसाइड वी कैन क्लोज इमीडिएटली, डज नॉट मैटर. कंटिन्यू. फिड्यूशरी कैपेसिटी, अभी तो मैं बहुत कुछ स्किप कर रहा हूं. यस, पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी केसेस. नाउ द पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी केसेस आर आल्सो प्रोटेक्टेड from the rigors of Benami law. But there are only 2 conditions. That the contract of transferring the property should be registered. First condition. Second, the stamp duty thereon should have been paid, applicable thereon. Now in how many conditions these 2 small conditions are fulfilled? How many cases? Probably none. If these 2 conditions are fulfilled, then the sale deed will be registered. So power of attorney cases are all sitting prone to the accident. If the actions are taken, they will be hit by Benami law, literally speaking, unless some amendment is brought out, sir. Half of Delhi is like that, particularly central Delhi. Section 88 of Indian Trust Act, fiduciary capacity. This has not been removed from Indian Trust Act. Other sections have been repealed, not this. So fiduciary capacity benefit still survives. I will skip this. Now, Benami property means any property which is the subject matter of Benami transaction and also includes the proceeds from such property. तो proceeds mean आपके कर्म आपके साथ साथ चलते जाएंगे. The proceed. What time your flight is? Okay, sir. It means any property which is the subject matter of a Benami transaction and also includes the proceeds from such property. So आपके कर्म आपके साथ साथ चलते जाएंगे. यानी कि आपने प्रॉपर्टी बेच भी दी, प्रोसीड्स आपके पास हैं, वो भी अटैच हो सकती है. वर्ड प्रॉपर्टी की डेफिनेशन देख लीजिए. इट इज वाइल्डेस्ट एंड वाइडेस्ट पॉसिबल डेफिनेशन अवेलेबल ऑन अर्थ, इंक्लूड्स एवरीथिंग पॉसिबल ऑन अर्थ. एंड लास्टली, इवन इफ प्रॉपर्टी इज कन्वर्टेड इन सम अदर फॉर्म, दैट विल आल्सो कंटिन्यू टू बी कवर्ड. बेनामीदार, इट मीन्स ए पर्सन or a fictitious person, as the case may be, in whose name the Benami property is transferred or held, and includes a person who lends his name. Now this last line is very important. Who lends his name. पहले अगर किसी की प्रॉपर्टी पकड़ी गई तो वे बोलता था साहब ये तो साहब वो चेयरमैन साहब है ना, उनका बैंक अकाउंट है साहब, मैंने तो खाली नाम दिया था बस. I just lent my name for operating this bank account. Now immediately he says I lent this name. It will be case of admitted बेनामी. अच्छा आपने सिर्फ नाम दिया था, ओके चलिए आप तो फिर एडमिटेड बेनामीदार हैं, तो आपको हम बेनामीदार वाला हार पहनाते हैं. So merely by lending the name itself he becomes बेनामीदार. Kindly see beneficial owner. It means a person whether his identity is known or not, for whose benefit the Benami property is held by बेनामीदार. Whether his identity is known, I was wondering कि यार ये समझ नहीं आई. It means a person or a fictitious person. यहां पर्सन और फिक्टिशियस पर्सन, ये कौन सी बात हुई कि जब पर्सन ही फिक्टिशियस है उसे बेनामीदार कैसे बनाएंगे. एंड हेयर इवन इफ हिज आइडेंटिटी इज नोन और नॉट, तो फिर वो बेनिफिशियल ओनर ही कैसे बन जाएगा इफ हिज आइडेंटिटी इज नोन. सो इसका मैंने लॉजिक ढूंढा. द लॉजिक ऑफ दिस वाज आल्सो फाउंड देयर, सेम प्लेस. व्हाट वाज सेड बाय हिम, दैट द बॉडी इज पेरिशेबल, इट इज मोर्टल, इट टेक्स बर्थ, इट गोज, टेक्स बर्थ एंड डाइज. शरीर नश्वर है, जन्म लेता है, मृत्यु को प्राप्त होता है. आत्मा वही अमर है. द सोल इज इमोर्टल. सो तू आत्मा को ढूंढ, उसको पकड़ और उसी को प्रोसिक्यूट कर दे. इनिशिएटिंग ऑफिसर. हियर स्टार्ट्स अवर एसोसिएशन विद दिस एक्ट. व्हेन द एनफोर्समेंट वर्क इज गिवन टू द people working in the income tax department. So Benami prohibition unit has been made, 26 Benami prohibition units, virtually in all major state capitals, one unit is there. And the job of enforcement has been given to the officer of ACIT and DCIT rank, who has been named as initiating officer, who sets the ball rolling and he personifies his name, initiates the proceedings, initiating officer. Approving authority uses the sanctioning authority, discharges function in the similar fashion as in section 151 income tax additional commissioner and joint commissioner does. Then adjudicating authority is an authority who discharges the function of adjudication of the orders which are passed by the initiating officer. And the adjudicating authority is located in Delhi and its pan-India jurisdiction is in Delhi only. They sits like court. And then appellate tribunal is not income tax appellate tribunal. Appellate tribunal is the tribunal of PMLA and SAFEMA, COFEPOSA, that is same, common with this. So only enforcement work is income tax department, other works are done by those agencies who are discharging the function under PMLA. Now, brief procedure, how the proceedings are done. The initiating officer has been empowered under the law to make out, gather inquiries on pull mode and push mode basis. Now, pull mode means if he wants to elicit information from any state government officer or central government officer or any authority, they are duty bound to furnish that information. Push mode means, which is quite dangerous, that if any of the state government officer or central government officer or stock exchange officer, RBI officer, etc., if they come to notice of any Benami transaction, then it is their legal obligation to inform about the same to the jurisdictional IO, jurisdictional BPU. So that is how the IOs are flooded with the information. So once they are flooded with the information they can record the reasons straight away or make further inquiries. Now suppose he chooses to record reasons, then thereafter, after recording the reasons, he can issue notice under section 24(1) and 24(2) to the Benamidar and beneficial owner, or to any other person who have interest in the property. Then he has been given the time period of 90 days. Within the 90 days period, he decides whether this property is Benami or not. If he decides it is not Benami, matter comes to an end. If he decides this is Benami, then he continues the provisional attachment order. So, in fact, when he issues notice under section 24(1), simultaneously he can also issue provisional attachment order. And that is what makes this law quite stinging and quite harsh as compared to income tax law. Because here the proceedings begin with the attachment of the property. In the income tax proceedings, attachment is done after the lifetime of assessee sometimes. Here they say with the beginning of the proceedings कि ये property तो सरकार की हो गई, अब तो आप prosecution और fine की बात करो. So that is how then this provisional attachment is continued in case he finds his Benami. Within 90 days period, we represent before the IO, make our submissions, and then after 90 days period, if he decides this is Benami, then he sends the matter to the adjudicating authority, and then adjudicating authority within 1 year decides whether this property is Benami or not. It is a court-like authority where the hearing takes place, and then after 1 year, if he decides yes, this is Benami property, then it confirms the attachment order. But confiscation takes place only after the matter is decided by the appellate tribunal. That is what makes it lesser harsh than the PMLA law, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Because under PMLA, immediately after adjudicating authority's order, properties are subject to confiscation. Now, few provisions I will share with you. Benamidar shall not retransfer the Benami property as held by him to the beneficial owner or any other person. Meaning thereby, there is no permission for U-turn. Once Benami, always Benami. The law is so harsh that if the Benami transaction is done, the property becomes the property of the government. No look back has been allowed under the law. Then no compensation is payable. Then prosecution. Now prosecution can take place so the moment property is attached, attachment is confirmed by the adjudicating authority, then prosecution under section 53 can take place. So attachment is only one part. The matter does not end here. They say no, you have to get the punishment also for doing the wrong thing. Now how? If any of these situations arises, then prosecution can take place. What are those three situations? Where the Benami transaction is done in order to defeat the provisions of any law. How many laws are there in our country? Uncountable. To avoid payment of statutory dues. 3. To avoid payment to creditors. So it is not talking about only tax dues, statutory dues. Statutory dues can be anything like stamp duty, like octroi, like house tax. And creditors will include trade creditors also. Then who are the persons who can be subject to prosecution? These first two persons you know very well. Kindly be acquainted with the third person also. Benamis are beneficial owner, and third person is a person who abets or induces any person to enter into Benami transaction. Search happened at one place, and it was asked from the person searched by the officer कि लाला जी आपने ट्रांजेक्शन बेनामी क्यों किया? सर मेरे सीए साहब ने कही थी. So that poor fellow is roped in. Now again you will see the provisions, which provision will apply, under what provision, whether statement will apply or written evidence will apply, and this not, you are into rigmarole. So far the client was after you for seeking appointment. Now you are after him for seeking appointment. कि यार तू statement ठीक कर ले, forget about the fees, pay me the fee next year, no problem. Punishment. This punishment is same for all three categories. No distinction. Right? क्योंकि ईश्वर की नजर में सब बराबर हैं. No threshold limit. There is no threshold limit. It could be 1 rupee property. क्योंकि ईश्वर की नजर में सब बराबर हैं. Rigorous imprisonment 1 year to 7 years and fine up to 25% of market value of property. That is why I say now the situation has become so grave. Earlier what used to happen that if I am aware of any one piece of law, that was sufficient. Today, even if you are not practicing in other laws, you are focusing on one law, but one needs to have awareness of other laws. I will explain you with the help of an example. What happened in one case? One gentleman sold around 100 acres of land, agricultural land, and he bought another piece of land to claim reduction under section 54B. Now, when the assessment proceedings were beginning, the AO asked why you should be given the benefit of 54B, because you have not purchased the land in your name. The land has been purchased in the name of somebody else. The accountant of the gentleman was very sharp, bright, brilliant. He said, yes sir, you're right. The land has been purchased in the name of daughter-in-law of my boss because of social exigencies, family reasons. But kindly see, my boss is the real owner. Entire amount of agriculture income is being deposited in the account of my boss only. He exercises full dominion and control over the land. So he should be given the benefit of deduction under section 54B, relying upon the judgment of Honorable Rajasthan High Court, though there is one contrary judgment of another High Court, but kindly follow this judgment. Any guess what the A would have done? The favorable judgment he will follow or contrary judgment he will follow? Normally he will follow contrary, but this time he followed the favorable judgment. Okay, take the benefit of 54B. But matter did not come to an end because 3 notices come thereafter within 1 month from Benami Prohibition Unit. One to the poor daughter-in-law that you are Benamidar of this land. One to this proud beneficial owner, that is a gentleman, you are beneficial owner of this land. And another notice to the accountant because he was saying, sir, I had suggested him to do like that. And it was then provisional attachment order came, the 4th order, that this property becomes the property of the government as of now. Entire 100 acres of land. So now you say that somebody has, the consultant has saved him from the small problem of 54B, but pushed him into the deep well, the deep darkness of Benami law. Welcome to the world of Benami law. Then on furnishing wrong information, punishment under section 54. The auditor was asked to give the correct balance sheet of a company. He sent the audited balance sheet. Then 54 notice came. He said, I have set the correct balance sheet, audited balance sheet. Don't say, this is the audited, it may be audited, but not correct. The correct balance sheet is which you have sent on mail to the client. Client has signed and they have said, this is the correct balance sheet. We have recovered from during search from the client. This is the correct balance sheet. So, if there is a pressure of time, I am skipping everything and I will come to the interplay part, that what is the interplay between this law and many other laws. Now firstly, the first question which is arising is sir, if I have paid the income tax, still can it be treated as Benami transaction? As I said, there is no scope of any other ifs and buts. Whether tax paid, whether tax not paid, if it is a case of Benami, it is a case of Benami. Payment of tax does not make anything better. Second, suppose addition is made under section 68. Whether the parallel action can be done here also? Now I will give you a real life situation which has happened. During the course of a search, one gentleman was made to surrender so that they can close the search. So he made a surrender of 24.5 crores. Now the breakup included 10 crores on account of bogus share capital received from B Limited in his company R Limited, and his name is R. So he paid tax on rupees 25 crores. He thought matter came to an end, but matter did not come to an end when the notice came from BPU for recording his statement. So raising his collars up, he went for statement. Yes, ask whatever you want to ask. The question was, okay, you have admitted this to be bogus capital. Yes, sir, I have paid tax on 25 crores, not only this 10 crores. I paid on 25 crores. This is the proof. Okay. So that means when you received check from B Limited, you have given cash to B Limited before that. Now there is a deep silence prevailing suddenly. But silence will not convert it into no, because he has said to be bogus share capital. So that means you gave cash to B Limited, and B Limited in return gave check to R Limited. And R Limited in return gave to share certificates to B Limited. So share certificates held by B Limited today are actually held by B Limited in the Benami capacity, not in the real capacity. And its real owner, beneficial owner are Mr. R. So the attachment was done of the share certificates as well as rupees 10 crore lying in the bank account of R Limited. Yes, sir. Welcome to the world of Benami law. Taxes paid already over there. Many more. Now 10 crore also gone share certificates. Any scope of debate according to the definition which we have read? Double jeopardy. Who stops? Only one scope of debate is still there. That what is the Benami property here which can be attached? Shares or that amount in the name of proceeds, or both? No, here we can have a debate. Because only one thing can be attached. Property includes proceeds, all right. But for the sake of attachment, you will attach only one. If you cannot catch hold of property, then only you will catch hold of proceeds. Firstly, these are not proceeds, because shares are still there. Shares are not sold. This is the amount in lieu of which check is given. So if anything Benami is there, that is shares, if at all. That is also subject to discussion. So, but in any case, see, the tax is also paid, here action is also taken. Next, then fine he will have to pay on that, then prosecution also on this. So this is not double, it is multiple. Now, SBO concept has been brought out, significant beneficial ownership concept. Now what does that concept say? That in case the real shareholders or beneficial owner of the shareholding is someone else, then form Ben 1 and Ben 2 have been made compulsory. That information is given to the ROC. Some of us who are doing this ROC practice must be aware of. Rather, auditors are also required to do this. So the moment you give this information, and if somebody else is beneficial owner because of the acting through clause, acting through someone else, then it is a fishing net. The same case can be roped into Benami law also. Similarly, there are many things, many more things I can discuss, but probably the time is, wherever GAR provisions are introduced and TT benefit is denied, the assets held in India can also be subjected to Benami law. Some NRI has bought land through one of his friends, it has been held to be Benami in some cases. So NRI has also been roped in. Similarly, it has got strong interplay with PMLA, anti-money laundering law, and also with Black Money Act. But I think the time may not permit it today because I am getting the signals. So in my sessions, what happens sometimes, that some person come to hear themselves to understand the law, but some other person comes who have been planted by somebody else, ki go hear what Taneja says, tell me, and then what I will see what is to be done with the transactions. So first kind of persons I call as person who are the real beneficiary owner, and second kind of persons who are Benamidar of somebody else. So how many of us sitting here are real beneficiary owners and how many are Benamidars? What is a gauge to measure it? There is one gauge. Those who have come here in the real beneficiary capacity, they can, in the honor of the organizers of this session, give a big round of applause. Those who are real beneficiary owners. मेरे सेशन में से एक बार एक सज्जन जाने लगे, तो मैंने पूछा ऑर्गेनाइजर साहब से, शेट्टी साहब बैठे थे सामने, मैंने कहा साहब क्यों जा रहे हैं? जैसे शेट्टी साहब बैठे, तो शेट्टी साहब जैसे सज्जन थे, उन्होंने कहा नहीं नहीं साहब, तनेजा साहब, यू आर स्पीकिंग ऑल राइट. मुझे लगा कि मैं तेज बोल रहा हूँ या धीरे बोल रहा हूँ या ऑडिबल नहीं हूँ या क्लियर नहीं हूँ, तो बोले नहीं नहीं सर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. इनको कुछ ट्रांजेक्शन याद आ गया है, जो ये सोच रहे हैं कि शाम ढलने से पहले उस ट्रांजेक्शन को सेटल कर लें. So any other thing which comes to your mind, because my deliberations are too long, I can cover PMLA also, I can cover Black Money Act also, but I think I must answer your questions. Yes. Yes, sir. One by one. Can we have benefit of mic?
Income tax doesn't recognize properly that the legal income or illegal income, it only taxes. So
Yes.
that means it taxes and it becomes illegal.
Yes.
Is it correct? So then it will not come under the Benami transactions. But the way it is presented now.
No, Benami transaction का legal illegal से कोई मतलब नहीं है. The moment the rigors, the conditions are fulfilled, whether it is from legally earned source, illegally earned source, tax paid, not tax paid, other consequences may follow, but this consequence will additionally follow of being Benami. So that is why I say, when I discuss about the interplay between PMLA and this, I say whenever people have done money laundering, they are being hit by that law, but if they have acquired the property in Benami names, then this law will also hit them. And that is what is happening. ED has also come into picture, because I am representing before ED cases also, under PMLA tribunal, and these cases also. So ED has also hit, and that this law has also hit. Yes, sir.
Sir, abhi means under 68 now additions were made.
Yes.
In case of cooperative means.
Can you bring the mic closer?
Yeah.
Yes.
For demo cases and all.
Yes.
So even that also will be.
Yes, wherever the person is not the real owner, if he has deposited cash on behalf of somebody else, and this fact is admitted, then the property held in his name being owned by somebody else, he not exercising the full beneficial control, can be robbed under Benami law also.
How serious this government will be to implement this law? Because all the politicians will be implemented.
I don't know.
Irrespective of the parties.
In most of the parts of the country, because pan-India jurisdiction is at Delhi, we are handling hundreds of cases where variety of persons have been roped in. Sitting judge, politicians, former politicians, current politicians, private citizens, bureaucrats, listed companies, NRIs, all have been roped in. Wherever the Benami law hinges on one concept, wherever there is a distinction between the legal ownership and the beneficial ownership, the concept of invoking of this law comes into picture. साहब इसका लॉजिक भी वहीं से लिया है. उसमें क्या कहा था इन्होंने? No duality, Advait. The moment you bring in duality, there is a concept of Benami. Something is artificial therein. So with the help of this law, that is what I say quite often, that what message they are giving? The message they are giving is that whatever you think from inside, outside you show the same thing. So whatever you are inside, portray your personality from outside also the same thing. Whatever is yours, think it, believe it to be yours, and tell to others also that that only is yours. Whichever is not yours, neither think yours, nor tell others to be yours. In other words, simple words, live a real life and get rid of Benami life. Exactly. Thank you very much.
Sir, last question. Where you are just speaking about jewelries, if you can say ancestral property. Suppose
Yes,
some 50 years, 60 years down the lane.
Yes.
How we will prove today that accountability of that, and to prove that it's not a Benami?
I received a notice in which the notice says, bring all, it was in the name of a company, that bring all the details of properties sold and purchased since 1888. Maybe printing mistake, let us presume that he wanted to write 1988. But still, since I am saying unfettered powers have been given, no embargo is given, so therefore it is prone to misuse. Not only misuse in this manner, there is another misuse which is happening. One order was quashed by the authority, being illegal for want of reasons. They started proceedings afresh. इस बार हम अच्छे से करेंगे सब काम, क्योंकि कोई टाइम लिमिट ही नहीं है. जी सर.
Sir, property held in the name of a spouse or a daughter is exempted.
Mike से. हाँ जी हाँ. बोल. Yes, you can continue.
Property held in the name of the spouse or a
Spouse.
daughter was some exemptions are given. Why not the son? Is there any logic behind it?
No, only spouse is mentioned now.
Daughter is there.
Daughter is not there now in the new law.
New law.
हाँ, अभी आप पास्ट में जी रहे हैं सर. अब इसमें करंट में आओ. यहाँ पर सिर्फ spouse only, and other categories will be covered in child. Any child. So child means both.
So even
Son and daughter both of any age.
so suppose even we transfer any amount in the name of the son or daughter, if they purchase, can it be treated as a benami?
No, they're not. There are two ways. मैं आपको दोबारा एक बार क्लियर करता हूँ. Somebody says कि सर क्या हम मदर को, डॉटर को, सिस्टर को गिफ्ट नहीं दे सकते? दे सकते हैं सर, क्यों नहीं दे सकते? प्रॉब्लम इज जो हम करते हैं, जो हम दिखाते हैं वो करते नहीं। पूर्ण समर्पण भाव का अभाव रहता है। कैसे? आप जब मदर के नाम से प्रॉपर्टी लेते हैं तो आप ये कह के लेते हैं ना कि मदर के लिए ले रहा हूं, फिर अपने आप को क्यों ऑनर दिखाते हैं बैलेंस शीट में? मत दिखाइए ना, उसको गिफ्ट मानिए। अलाउड, नो प्रॉब्लम, लेट द मदर बी और लेट द डॉटर बी द ओनर, देन डोंट क्लेम एनी बेनिफिट हियर। दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम। डू इट होली, एब्सोल्यूट होना चाहिए। द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ एब्सोल्यूटनेस। सॉरी, एनी बेनिफिट नहीं, बेनिफिट कैन बी डायरेक्ट और इनडायरेक्ट विद रिगार्ड टू द यूजर ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी, because the words are very loosely defined, direct or indirect. So suppose that car example, I am using car, house I am using, that in elder brother, younger brother example, younger brother was living only and he had paid the consideration, but registered deed was in elder brother's name only. That first floor has been treated as benami. That is why I am saying that this is going to be harsh because of the retrospective operation. From now onwards we will understand. But what happened to the earlier transactions? They say that no, we want to get rid of this. Yes sir, your question?
Sir,
Bring the mic closer.
Yeah, we have Karnataka Land Reforms Act,
Yes, Karnataka land.
under which only an agriculturist can purchase the
Yes,
agricultural land.
yes. Very
So
important
we
question.
are receiving a lot of notices in case of builders.
Mic like this.
We are receiving a lot of notices in case of builders, specifically where they are searched, where they found evidence. One intermediary has been appointed,
Yes.
wherein which there is an MOU with him, wherein which he amalgamates, rather he procures the lands for a consideration of rupees 5 lakhs per acre. But all the considerations that is paid by the procurer
Paid by
would
the
have been paid by the builder. Here sometimes the builder would have paid directly to the original owner
Yes.
at the behest of the procurer.
Yes.
And ultimately the procurer purchases the lands
Yes.
and converts the lands into for non-agricultural purposes,
Yes.
then convey the lands to the builder's name
Yes.
for a consideration fee of rupees 5 lakhs.
And now let me reply back to it. Because maybe Karnataka may be late in initiating actions under this law. But Rajasthan was the first state, Chhattisgarh was the second state where actions under Benami law have been taken in all other cases. And Shah Rukh Khan's property was also attached because of this law actually primarily. Because there also in Alibag, only natives could have bought land. So he created such an arrangement. The allegation was that he created such an arrangement whereby his company became the owner. That native was made the director. Later on he resigned from the directorship, but the company retained the land. So that is how also it was done over there. So the idea behind is something which cannot be done directly. You are not allowed to do it indirectly. That is what Benami law is trying to prohibit. Under Rajasthan Act also, only members of SC/ST class can acquire land. Members of non-SC/ST class, that is non-khatedar, they have been named unknown, they cannot acquire land. But huge chunk of land is required by the builders. Builder can acquire the land after CLU is done, change of land use is done. So what they do, for the intervening period, they appoint their nominee who is belonging to that community as their nominee. So, but the officers over there have treated this transaction as Benami transaction even for the intervening period. In Chhattisgarh, the tribal cannot sell the land to non-tribals. If tribal has been taken as partner in the firm and then the land has been acquired, that has been treated as Benami. The tribal has been treated as Benamidar. So this action has been happening all over the country, and government will have to think about it because it will have socio-economic, far-reaching and very, very disastrous implications. Because they are getting out of the stream these people who cannot, who were otherwise getting some involvement in the transactions. Yes, law is applicable. If there is a duality existing at any point of time, even for a minute, the law will come into place.
sir, extending his question, generally people will, children will be living in US or UK or somewhere else. They are earning money and sending money to India, and then the properties are registered in the name of the parent. One exemption was it should be joint, lineal ascendant or descendant. In case if it registered only in the name of the father, will it be considered as a Benami? In the books, I'll show it as a loan only. In the books, I'll show it as loan from son.
So long as the parents are the owner and show themselves to be the owner, and there is no contradictory evidence is recovered which says that no, they are not the owner is that gentleman only, then it will be a case of Benami.
Okay.
Now, for example, I will tell you real life situation you will come to know. one gentleman who is living abroad, NRI, he sends money in India to his friend purchases land, right, in his name, friends purchases in his name. Now income tax search takes place, the land is say rupees 10 crores. The income tax department alleges that no, this land is actually rupees 25 crores. 15 crore rupees cash has also been given to the builder. So we will treat in your hand as your income and will make addition and you will pay penalty and all that. Now getting scared, he says, no, sir, I am not the owner. The owner is my friend sitting there in that another country. He just used my name, that's it. So once he gives this statement, whatever will happen in income tax proceedings, God knows, but it has been treated as Benami. That poor fellow as beneficial owner, this has Benamidar. His prosecution is started. The moment he lands in India, his prosecution will also start and land has become the land of the government.
So the question is whether can I borrow money from my son and then register the property in my name?
Sir, there is no bar so long as in whose name you are buying, he is the absolute owner. The example which I gave, everything was all right till he created an evidence.
No, when the source it is menaged, can I say that is the loan which...
Merely because source does not make. Because I said both the things should be done.
Yeah.
A, merely by paying the consideration will not be enough. The person has to get the benefit also as an owner.
Okay.
Both the conditions have to be cumulatively fulfilled. If only source is being provided, there is a judgment of Honorable Supreme Court only P. Leelavati, which is from originally Karnataka High Court, which reached to Supreme Court, which I argued before the appellate tribunal and I said kindly apply this judgment, wherein it has said that mere providing finance will not make it Benami.
Right.
P. Leelavati, Karnataka High Court, confirmed by Supreme Court, and now then followed by tribunal in one of my cases in Pamela Bhardwaj.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
And then one Andhra Pradesh High Court judgment, Ammal Mangathai, which also reached to Supreme Court.
Thank
So
you so
both the judgments are very, very useful and directly on this issue.
Thank you so much, sir.